All right, cold start. I keep it on a cutoff, so go ahead and close that. Okay. So we need to turn our ignition on. We need to pull our choke. Now I will have to put down the camera briefly to turn the key. Apologies guys, dropped the phone. So you just hold it for a little while. If you let it out too soon, it'll just kind of die. And now we're good to go. A little tour. So we've got our water right there. All these gauges were redone a few years back by a gentleman in SoCal. I put a wideband in there just because I like the data, but I do have, I believe that's originally a voltmeter. That gauge was redone as well. You've got your oil clock. Because I keep it on a cutoff, you know, the clock would always be wrong. So clock was rebuilt, but it's not hooked up. I just put it at 311. For folks that know, that's kind of a VIN designation for these cars. Here we've got our fuel. We've got our, well, this is our fan. This is the one nuance here. I hooked up my fan here because I just like to be able to control my fan. And the reason I did that is because this is an aftermarket wiring harness with its Highway 65 American Auto wire. And these are your lights. You just simply pull them out, push them in. You could always switch up that wiring if you wanted. Here's your fog, which can be a little bit of a pesky switch, to be honest. It's wired to a relay, and so if I go slow, I can usually get it to come on. But it takes a few times to get them to stay on. Wiper, there we go. We're good to go. You gotta kind of time it. Boom. Okay, this is the heater, though. If you'll notice in the engine bay, the coolant lines are not ran back. So there's essentially no heater, but the blower does work. So right here. Hopefully you could hear that. Okay, cigarette lighter, I never bothered to connect. This is the washer pump. I didn't bother to connect that either. Same thing with the radio, even if you connected it to power, I doubt it would work. All these are connected, though again, no heater anyways. Dash compartment works, but it can be a little pesky to open sometimes. So, ashtray. Okay, this has never, locked closed, and that's because this mechanism here is broken right there. I reached out to a online parts resource. They have some used ones they were willing to sell, but it's going to take a couple weeks. So if it doesn't arrive before the car is sold, I'll simply ship it to you at my cost. Very easy fix, obviously. Just put it back in. We've got the new arm here. We need the spring, which they're going to send me as well, and the locking mechanism itself still works, so I tested that. Okay, e-brake obviously works. Steering wheel, I put it in an aftermarket wheel. The smaller wheel makes it a little bit roomier in here. I have the original wheel, it's really cool too, so you could always put that back on. A little bit of play in the steering, you can see that. I think all Roadsters are kind of that way, but just want to make sure whoever buys it is comfortable with that. What else would I tell you about the car? Obviously, the star of the show with this car in particular is the motor, the 7250 Rebello with the Mikuni carbs and the lightweight flywheel. Really a cool setup. Sounds like unreal good. We've only got 878 miles on the brand new motor, so you can see I really have not been driving it. I'm found out over time I'm more of a guy that likes to work on project cars and not one that likes to finish my done cars. So I think it's time to pass this to someone that's, you know, going to take real nice care of it and enjoy it. Alright, I think that's probably, I've been blabbering long enough, so I'll cut it off there.